How to control algae growth in aquarium. Friends, when you have an aquarium, facing algae becomes an inescapable part of the hobby. Algae isn't necessarily harmful. It's instead a natural phenomena that indicates a balanced and healthy aquarium. At times, algae became a nuisance when it started to bloom uncontrollably. If you want to know the root causes of algae and the most common types found in fresh water, this video is for you. Here, we have shared standard practices to efficiently reduce the algae in fish tanks and prevent rapid growth. Before continuing this video and telling you all the exact answers to this, let us welcome you all to our channel Blue Aquatics, where you all get the best information about flower horn fish keeping and overall fish keeping. So the question arises, is algae bad for your fish tank? Friends, when newbies hear the term algae, they think of it's something gross looking floating on water. Many believe it's an unwanted thing, but that's not true. Algae is a basic life form for the aquatic ecosystem for multiple purposes. A particular type of algae in your tank makes the aquascape look natural. Moreover, it gives the inhabitants wild-like vibes, making them suspect less of the captivity. Besides, algae is a good food source for fish and microorganisms. It even produces oxygen via photosynthesis. This proves our point that algae are naturally beneficial for your aquarium. However, the presence of too many algae is what causes the real problem for the inhabitants and the tank owners. Algae blooms are a telltale sign that shows you have an imbalance in your aquarium. It increases the pH levels, making the water highly alkaline and toxic. Fish casualty from excessive algae growth is primarily a result of oxygen depletion. Some algae can also release harmful compounds into the water. Furthermore, an abundance of algae quickly covers the plants and ornaments, diminishing the aesthetical appeal of the environment. The bottom line is that you want algae in your fish tank, but not too much. Now let's discuss what are the causes of excessive algae in aquariums. Friends, the root cause of excessive algae lies in the imbalance of lighting and nutrients. If you are experiencing sudden algae growth in your aquarium, you are either providing too much light to your tank or there are too many nutrients in it. Here are the standard practices that cause an imbalance in a fish tank, offering algae an ideal breeding ground to multiply its growth. You could be involved in one or more of the discussed practices. First of all, you leave the lights on for too long, or your aquarium might be placed where it often receives direct sunlight. Secondly, you overfeed your fish, resulting in a lot of fish poop and uneaten parts floating around the tank. Also, if you don't perform the regular water changes, then these could be the reasons for excessive algae growth. It's easy to fix the problem once you identify what you are doing wrong. So, now let's discuss how to control algae growth in aquarium. An imbalance in nutrients and lighting causes algae blooms. So, the goal is to get the aquarium as close to being balanced as possible. There are several ways to achieve the desired balance. Here are the main methods to help you control algae growth naturally and efficiently. First of all, reduce lighting in your aquarium. Friends, when trying to get rid of algae in aquariums, the first thing to do is to reduce the amount of light it receives throughout the day. If you have a planted tank, Keep the lights on for not more than 8 to 10 hours a day. You can completely shut off lights for a fish only tank and use it for a few hours only when you want to watch or feed your fish. Please do not place your tank where it can come into contact with direct sunlight. Use a timer to turn the light on and off, as it allows you to have a schedule to stick to. Secondly, don't overfeed your fish. Friends, please do not feed your fish more food than they can eat in 1 minute. When you overfeed your fish, you will have an excess of uneaten parts and fish poop. Both serve as nutrient rich substances for the algae to proliferate. Do not feed adult fish more than 2 times a day and baby fish, which is a fry, for 5 to 6 times a day. Within 30 minutes of feeding, remove all the leftover parts. Thirdly, perform water changes regularly. Performing routinely partial water changes is one of the best ways to prevent algae growth. It helps remove the excess organics and keep the nutrients low. Ideally, it would help if you did a 10 to 15% water change every week. If you have a moderately populated aquarium, you may have to perform up to 30% water change once a week. Fourthly, test aquarium water regularly. Friends, testing water parameters regularly gives you an upper hand over keeping algae nuisance at bay. Algae will grow uncontrollably whenever high levels of phosphate, nitrate, or iron present in the water aquarium. You can use a water testing kit to keep a check on the water quality. Fifthly, have live plants in your fish tank. Friends, one of the best ways to win over algae is to let your plants lead the battle. Live plants will usually absorb most of the nutrients in the water, leaving less to none for the algae to thrive. Moreover, plants compete with algae by growing across the surface and shadowing the algae underneath, where it won't receive much light. Many aquarists believe plants release natural algicides that stops algae from covering leaves. On 6th, introduce algae eaters to your aquarium. You don't have to deal with algae alone. Let algae eaters take care of it. You can find a variety of tropical freshwater fish and invertebrates that feed on algae. For smaller tanks, you can bring home autosynclus catfish and algae-eating shrimp. For larger aquariums, you can introduce mollies, Siamese algae eaters, and bristlenose catfish to the algae. With these natural algae eaters, you may run off algae soon and have to buy some commercially available algae-based foods to feed them. At 6th, clean your aquarium regularly. You can apply all the advanced measures, but getting rid of the algae will be an endless hassle if you aren't properly cleaning your tank. Manual cleaning may not prevent algae from returning. However, it will assist other management methods to be more effective. To remove algae manually, you can use a magnetic scraper. It helps you clean the aquarium's walls from the outside and keep your hands dry. Brush plant leaves and scrub decor items when you see algae start to coat. Suck out the excess algae from the water by siphoning and vacuuming the gravel. Cleaning your filter and biomedia is a crucial part of maintaining effective filtration. Do not leave loose algae in the water, as it will eventually decompose and release a foul smell, such as rotting eggs. Moreover, it lowers the pH and reduces the oxygen level in the water. Now friends, let's discuss types of algae in fish tanks. Friends, identifying the type of algae growing in your aquarium will help you determine the cause and an effective cure for the problem. At first comes brown algae. Brown algae are made up of single-celled organisms commonly referred to as diatoms. It looks dusty and has a slimy texture forming soft brown clumpy patches. You will not find it floating over the surface, instead being attached to the surfaces such as glass, rock, plants and other ornaments. Now let's discuss what is the cause of having brown algae. Brown algae are primarily found in newly planted tanks and are caused by significant levels of phosphates and silicates. Now let's put some light on the cure. For the best part, brown algae are not harmful and are easiest to eliminate. You can leave it as it is. It will disappear as the tank matures. Or you can remove it using an algae scrubber sponge. Next comes blackbeard algae. It belongs to the family of red algae and can be found in black, grey, dark green and all shades. Blackbeard algae are the most stubborn algae to eliminate. It may not harm the inhabitants, however, if left untreated, it can quickly grow into thick and bushy clumps, taking over the whole aquarium. Blackbeard algae mainly grow on driftwood, decor items, and plants. Now, let's discuss what's the cause. It can be caused by excessive photoperiod time, low levels of CO2, and high pollutant levels. Now, about the cure. You can introduce Siamese algae eaters, Florida flagfish, or Amano shrimp to your tank to eliminate blackbeard algae. Or you can choose to treat it chemically using liquid carbon or spray the infested items from outside the tank with 3% hydrogen peroxide. Next is hair algae. As the very name implies, it looks like wet hair. Hair algae have longer, soft filaments that form carpet-like layers, coating plants and decorations in an aquarium. The main concern with the hair algae is that it grows faster and can give you a more challenging time getting removed. Now, what's the probable cause for this? Hair algae are usually triggered by an excess of iron, too much light, or not enough nutrients to balance out the amount of light. Now, the cure. Manually remove the larger clumps of algae using a toothbrush. Reduce the lighting period in your aquarium. Introduce fertilizers and lower iron levels. Add algae eaters to your tanks, such as Siamese algae eaters, Amano shrimp, or Florida flagfish. Next is green algae. Friends, green algae is one of the most common algae found in freshwater tanks. As the very name sounds, it is green in color. Although green algae are considered good, their abundance can cause problems for fish and plants. It can be identified as green spots on the aquarium wall and ornaments. What's the probable cause? That the growth of algae is mainly caused by too much light or an imbalance of phosphate levels in the water. Its cure is, since it can be difficult to remove, use a glass or acrylic safe algae scraper with the blade. You can put algae eating fish or Neurite snails in your aquarium to feed on the green spot algae. Next comes blue-green algae. Friends, when you encounter blue-green algae in your aquarium, be assured that it's not your regular algae but a case of cyanobacteria. It proliferates and starts covering the substrate, plants, and decor with a slimy blanket. Therefore, identifying blue-green algae in its initial stage is crucial to control the spread. Now, showing the light on cause, there is less information available about what causes an outbreak of blue-green algae. High nitrate and phosphate levels in water are believed to be the possible causes. Now let's discuss the cure. You can try to remove it manually. Additionally, regular water changes and increased water agitation will help prevent blue-green algae. Also, Test your aquarium water for phosphate. If the results show significance, use commercial treatments to lower the amount. Additionally, you can use an erythromycin antibiotic. However, apply caution when dosing your tank, as it may cause harm to the nitrifying bacteria colonies in the biofilter. Now, discuss about the green water. Friends, if your aquarium water has turned green, it is due to the rapid growth of microscopic algae or single-celled phytoplankton. The problem with green water algae is that it cannot be wiped off or even removed by water changes. Now, the cause: green water in fish tanks is often a result of too much lightning, excess nutrients, or an ammonia spike. The cure: the most effective way to eliminate green water is to black out your aquarium by blocking all lights for at least a week. In this process, your plants may suffer, so keep that in mind. Treating green water using a UV sterilizer is another alternatively that works effectively. So to conclude, friends, to get rid of algae or control the spread, treating the root problem causing the outbreak is essential. If you tackle algae problems on the surface level, such as scraping it off the water, it will come back again. However, it is not a complicated task. By applying the combination of the techniques, you will be able to easily control algae growth. So that's all for now. Friends, if you like the content of this video, then do subscribe to our channel Blue Aquatics. This will motivate us to create more videos. Also ring the bell icon so that you will never miss any critical updates. So have a happy fish keeping, everyone.